Yeah, I'm assuming you guys will handle this part of it.
Yeah, we'll facilitate this part.
Thank you.
So it is 6 p.m. We'll go ahead and begin with the 2017 donation request budget presentations. This is not a city council meeting. However, it was advertised to the public. We did post a notice of quorum to our website. Gave notice to the Star, also posted on our door at City Hall, so that's all been taken care of. This is a chance for the council to seek information from the groups making requests out of our 2017 budget. No decisions will be made tonight. That'll all happen during the budget hearing process. We'll discuss it further. This is strictly an informational gathering time. So with that in mind, we do have 4 scheduled to present tonight, approximately 5 minutes to present. There could be some Q&A in between or some Q&A afterwards, about 10-minute windows. That said, any questions to the council members before we get going?
We have 2 additional.
Well, take care of the first group, and I'm just kind of take it by as it comes. But again, try not to exceed that 10 minutes to keep us on track here. 7 o'clock, the meeting will begin as usual, so we'll try and get through the request now and have a little intermission before the council meeting begins at 7.
Did you have questions?
No, I just have the really bright center light in my eyes, which I hate.
Sunglasses.
Okay, so the Helpline Center, is there, hi, come on
Hey,
up.
do you want me to come?
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, perfect. And just so that everybody knows, we do have these on video right now, so we can always reference the video later if we need to.
And she did provide 1 copy of the financials, which is being passed down the table. It's their audit report and their financial statements.
So you have that?
Yes,
Okay.
they provided 1 copy, so they're passing it down.
Okay. All right, well, thank you for hearing from us. My name is Lynn Taylor-Rick. I'm the Volunteer Connections Coordinator with the Helpline Center. And actually, Heidi Belgisi is the person that usually does this, but she's on vacation, so I'm filling in. So hopefully I can answer your questions.
It is. If you want to step a little bit closer to the mic, that might help us. Or just take it off.
Is that better?
That's fine too.
Okay, is that better? Yeah, good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Good.
So do you want me to start again? Okay.
Lynn Taylor.
Lynn Taylor-Rick with the Helpline Center. I'm the Volunteer Connections Coordinator. So most of you probably are somewhat familiar with what we do, but I'll just give you a quick little overview. The Helpline Center is a United Way agency. It's been in the Black Hills for the past 10 years. And we have 3 programs. We have the 211 call line. It's a 24-hour resource phone line. People can call it night or day. They'll always get a live person. And they can get referred to everything from where can I get my driver's license to I need a domestic violence shelter to where would you refer me if I needed help paying my rent. And then we can make referrals to agencies or government programs that can help people do that. We also have the Suicide and Crisis. We answer that line for the state of South Dakota. And then in late 2014, we added the Volunteer Connections Program, which I coordinate. And what I do is connect volunteers in the community with agencies that need volunteers. Agencies recruit through me, and I help get the word out and make those connections. When people call 211, they're asked for their age, their gender, and their zip code. And that's used to complete an annual community trends report that just kind of gives us an idea of where resources are needed, where the gaps are in resources in the community. So just to give you an idea of what we saw in 2015, total calls were up to Helpline Center. We had 11,660, and that's compared to 8,561 in 2014. A lot of those additional calls were because we did the scheduling for the AARP tax assistance program. So that's where some of that came from. But the Southern Hills numbers are up as well. And in fact, there were 228 more 211 database searches in 2015 than there were the year previously. And
How many more?
228 more in the Southern Hills. And that's on the, in addition to being able to call 211, people can also go on helplincenter.org, and there's a place there where they can search and do a key search, you know, like utilities, and do a search. So that's where that increase was for the Southern Hills. We recently added this past year, in fact just in the last few months, a texting component now, so people can now text their zip code to 898-211, and then that'll open up a two-way conversation, and then they can get information and get referrals that way as well. And one piece of that is that we can set up a keyword. We can work with emergency services or disaster programs and set up a keyword, and then people can get text informing them what's happening. And that's something that just happened with the Crow Peak Fire and Spearfish. Heidi was up there several of the days, and 501 people opted in to get these updates. So then they were, throughout the day, they were getting, road closures or fire contained, or, so that's another piece of what we can do and what we do. Typically, the calls that we get are basic needs. That's the top of the list, everything from housing to transportation. Those are kind of where the gaps in services are, it seems, and those are the calls that we get, what people are looking for. In terms of the suicide and crisis statistics, we had 457 suicide-related calls from the Black Hills, and that was up 20% from 2014. The state was up 11%, so the Black Hills, or our area was higher. The good news of that is most of those were level 1 calls, which means they didn't have a plan. That was just something they were thinking about, so we were able to intervene in a time when we can help them create a plan and get a safe solution to their issues. The Volunteer Connections program that I coordinate, that was started in 2014, and right now we have 120 Black Hills area agencies. They are registered on the database, it's free to them, and they're listing a little over 300 opportunities. So at any time, people can call 211, they can text, or they can go online and search, and they can narrow it down by the day of the week they want to volunteer, what they'd like to do, and what research, what maybe issue areas are interesting to them. And right now we have the Hot Springs VA uses that. I'm down here to help recruit volunteers. Boys Club in Hill City.
Do they donate to you?
The VA, I'd have to ask Heidi that. That would be a question for her, but we can get that answer to you.
I would like to know that.
Yeah, I will write a note and get that back to her. So, with that, I just would like to thank you in the past. I believe we're asking for the same amount we have in the past, and it just allows us to continue doing what we're doing. This past year, Heidi has made a big effort to spread the word in the Southern Hills. And so I know she came down, she talked to the Ministerial Society, she talked to the Rotary Club. We also, Helpline Center ran ads in the Hot Springs newspaper for 6 months, just so people would know this is a resource for them. And we're getting ready to run some PSAs to let people know about the new texting piece as well, that 898-211.
Okay.
So.
Are there any other questions?
I'm impressed how much you've grown.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Says you're doing a good job.
Yeah, well, I hope so, yeah. There's a lot of need and a lot of, but people are finally understanding we're here and that we can help get them to the right place, because too often that's the issue. There's an agency that can help them, they just don't know where to find them, so.
Thank you.
It's a great service.
Okay, great. Anything else?
Any other questions?
I have one. Thank you for your presentation.
Sure.
I appreciate it. In here, in the documents you gave us, you talked about some of the numbers for Black Hills. Can you pull out the data and get more specific to the Southern Hills and especially Hot Springs to compare, activity from 13 to 14, 14 to 15, so we can see how it's directly impacting
Yes,
Southern Hills?
I believe we can do those reports. I mean, we were able to look at those online searches, and we do track the calls as well. So if that's something you want, I'll make a note and have Heidi get that to you.
I would be interested in
So
those numbers.
13 to 14 and 14 to 15, just kind of.
Yeah, just look at a trend and
Yeah.
see how the calls are going.
Yep, I will make a note for her when she's back from vacation.
Sure.
I'll make her do that.
If you can send those to me, then I can give them the.
Okay,
so that
that'd be
way.
great.
Thank you.
Thank you. We really appreciate your support. Thank you
I
very
have
much.
Thank you.
one comment.
Sure.
Looking at your financials, it looks like you have really some great resources, a lot of funding. Is there any reason why you would come to us for funding, looking at the amount of money that you have?
And I don't have what you're looking at. Does that include the McCurvich Foundation grant that we received?
So $468, is that it?
I
400,000.
Oh, no, we had a two-year McCurvich grant to get the volunteer piece going, and that ends this month. So now with that launched, now that's one area where we need to continue. As for the 2-in-1 side, I would have to refer that to Heidi as well and have her get that to you.
I think it just looked to me like you have substantial or significant resources.
Is that the, unless that's the Bush Foundation grant?
It's your audit, it's your annual audit.
It's your annual
financial
audit.
statements.
Yeah.
Sorry, I can't be more
It
helpful.
increased by almost $1 million, looks like.
I'm guessing that may include the Bush Foundation grant, which is for a program going to be launched in the Sioux Empire. So that won't affect us or won't benefit us in the Black Hills. I can ask Heidi and make sure she can clarify that to see if that number is in there.
Okay.
But we did receive something.
Yeah,
but
there was
they'll
quite
just-
a bit of an increase from last year.
Yeah, that would be, if this is the one I'm thinking, that will be Sioux Empire and maybe somewhere down the road, hopefully bring that out here, but it's, they're launching it and kind of trying it there, so.
Okay,
But I'll make notes to Heidi and have her send those to you, Noah, and then you can,
thank you.
all right, thank you very much.
Miss South Dakota Organization, you're up next. You're doing a good job staying on track, so try to keep your presentation with allowing some time for questions.
All right, I'm gonna keep it short and sweet. We're just asking for the $5,000 scholarship, which we have been given the last couple of years. Again, as per the city's request, the entire $5,000 has gone to the current Miss South Dakota. And so it helps us substantially. I turned in, of course, application, and then I gave you the scholarship report, which just basically it outlines money that comes in goes to scholarship, money that goes out goes to scholarship. And then I got a call from Misty today requesting a little bit more, so we hurried and put as much together as we could for you. So the 2014-2015 profit and loss statement that you have is actually for our general fund. That goes to cover the pageant expenses as well as travel for the current Miss South Dakota, some other board expenses. That does not include scholarships, so it does not include your $5,000. I also turned in our taxes for you. There's a 2016 Miss South Dakota Scholarship Foundation. That's our checking statement, again, for the general fund, not for the scholarship. And then the last part is our budget and our actuals from 2014, 2015, and then the 2016 budget. Of course, we don't have all those numbers yet. So that's basically it. If you have questions.
Last year, you talked to us about an issue with all the scholarship money going to one person or something. Can you elaborate on that a little?
So in our program book, we list, of course, our sponsors and the amount that they've given. And then each contestant is awarded an amount. Every girl who competes gets something. Even if she doesn't make it as a finalist, she gets something for competing. And so when we outline that, we put who the donor was, because there are some very specific donations that one person wants it to go to the first runner-up in a memorial of so-and-so. So under this year, for the winner, we put a $5,000 donation specifically from the city of Hot Springs, so that it outlines that specifically going towards that girl per the request last year.
I think I remember the council saying they wanted it to all go to scholarships.
Scholarships.
I don't remember them specifying that it had to be the winner of the pageant.
I was just going to say, yeah, we were trying to make sure it went to scholarships, but
Yeah, and it does.
It's going to be split 50-50
Right.
between like administration and scholarships.
Well, they had asked me after the first meeting, at the second meeting, if maybe we could split both of them. So from there, you guys said no, that you wanted it to go to scholarship, so it all went to scholarship. And there are two separate accounts, so I know, not seeing the back end of it, it's kind of hard sometimes to know how that goes into. But we have two separate accounts, one for scholarship and then one that goes to pay for everything else. So when you said specifically to scholarship, it went into our scholarship fund, which overall helps us. I mean, yeah, I can put it in the program book that Miss South Dakota 2016 got $5,000 from the city of Hot Springs. But the $5,000 going to her allowed me to take $5,000 and apply it to the other girls as well.
okay. Because the other thing is, I know we looked at how much we give by having the Mueller Center available for you for actually about 2 weeks.
Yeah, I think just the way that it ended up working out, and because it was such a big year and we had so many stage changes, that Chris had let us in a couple days early to do that as well. And that, I can't reflect that in a scholarship account because it's not money in,
I
money
don't think
out.
we intended that. It
Yeah.
was just that, because we do that, it's probably closer to 10,000 we will give back to Miss South Dakota.
Yeah, and that's in the other accounting that I gave you tonight. And it may not reflect the discount, but it definitely reflects what we pay, which I believe was only like $2,800 this year.
The detail stops at February 25th, 2016 on the scholarship account activity that you provided?
Was that the first one? Yes.
So is there anything more recent because it was a big year? Imagine there's been more.
Yeah, so this was just the 2015 2015 income expenses type deal. I do have, we switched bank accounts, and when we did that, Wells Fargo cut off all of our bank statements. So I do have the 2016 information available, but anything that is received after the pageant, so anything that was received after June of last year went towards 2016 scholarships, and then anything that we receive after pageant of this year goes towards next year's scholarships. It's just kind of how it's broken down. So I can get those and email them to Nolan if you would like an updated bank statement for up through.
Just financials, the most current
Yeah,
financials for
probably.
that. Since you provided the general fund, but you indicated that this is kind of separate.
Yeah, so that first detail one, the one that goes through 2/25/2016 where it says account closure, that's the scholarship account. That's the account that I'm in charge of, which is why it came in two separate, because they don't let us be on both accounts. So Judy Thies, as our treasurer, is on the accounts for the general operating expenses, if you will, which is what I provided tonight. What I provided earlier in the week is my scholarship accounting. So that's where the two separate paperwork sets come from. But if you would like, I can get an update.
I'll let the council decide that.
What did you say, Ms. Key?
I'm good,
I'll let the
thanks.
council decide.
Oh, yeah.
Then you're good?
I'm good.
I think we're okay. I know what you
Okay.
spend pretty
Yeah,
well.
I mean,
You guys
yeah,
spend
if
a lot.
Yeah.
That's
Pretty, yeah.
But we're glad you came, thanks.
All right,
Thanks, thank you.
Next session.
Southern Hills Economic Development. Next up.
I actually get to be early.
Yeah, isn't that great?
2 or 3 minutes early, I get 2 or 3 more minutes to talk about.
No.
No,
Hold you to your
doesn't roll
10
till
minutes.
6:30 from 6:20. And I had this speech all lined out, it's gonna go 6, 7, 8 minutes, but anyway, in a nutshell, our request this year is for $50,000. In a nutshell, it all pretty much goes to operating funds. We provide you with a year-to-date P&L showing salaries, mileage,
Could you
meals,
talk
et cetera.
into the microphone?
Yeah, we.
Is that better? I hate spitting all over it, but.
You need to be right up to that line.
Okay. The 2016 P&L I provided to you was for year-to-date. It wasn't a calendar year, it's a calendar year, year-to-date, showing salary for just one employee. We only pay one person. The board gets paid or compensated for anything. Mileage, meals, etc. Memberships are all taken out of that. Aside from standard operating things, we do pay $7,500 per year to be a part of Dakota Resources Dakota Rising Program, which some of you are well aware of. Kristen Stewart from the Vault participates in that, and she is set to graduate in a year from that program. One of the missions of the Southern Hills Economic Development Corporation is to not only attract new businesses, but to retain existing businesses. That's why we feel the investment of $7,500 per year is important on that aspect, to retain what we do have, to encourage existing small business owners, startups, 1 or 2 years under their belt, encourage them to excel. It's a costly program, but we feel it's well worth it. We revisit that every year. You might note that we do have some high expenditures for meals, travel, mileage, etc. My one comment for that up front will be that we don't sit in the office waiting for people to come to us. We're out hitting the streets, going to conferences, going to events. Some of those are dictated by the Governor's Office of Economic Development, which funds us in grants in Andrea's position. And that's a stair-stepping program that this year we received $17,000 towards her salary for the year, and that will go down to $12,000 next year. The idea is to grow your organization each year as the state steps out of it slowly. You also find on there consultants fees for $25,000. That is a result of a Black Hills Vision grant. And if you're not aware of Black Hills Vision, we can sit down and talk about that sometime. But Black Hills Vision is a consortium of Hot Springs and Barber County contribute to each year. I believe the city's given to that for probably about 3 years in a row to the tune of $5,000 a year. Received a $25,000 grant back from them to pursue options for economic disruptions, primarily. What do we do if the VA should decide to pull out? And on that note, I want to offer up that the Shedco's vision is that the VA would go back to its full strength. But our mission is to be prepared if it doesn't. And I feel very strongly about that. And so this Black Hills Vision money comes in at a very good time to help us hire a consultant. We wouldn't have the cash available in the bank to have that available to us. I, as well as our consultant, who is Mark Merchant from M3 Consulting, will be flying out to Seattle, Washington on Monday for 2 days to spend with Glad Architecture, who is doing some consulting work for us on that aspect right now. But we are no means looking to jump ahead of any VA decision whatsoever. It's an idea that we are prepared. We've been advised of that for years. Mark Merchant actually is a consultant that worked with the BRAC, that base closing and realignment of Ellsworth. That did not happen. So he is an excellent source. He has the government contacts. We feel it's a strong position to play in. So that $25,000 consulting fee was offset by a $25,000 grant from Black Hills Vision, so there's no money out of our pocket. By asking for additional funds from the council and the city, it allows us to quote-unquote play a little bit, to do some things that we would like to do. We'd like to get involved in geothermal water study. We are also talking to Barber County and the city of Edgemont to participate with that. That's possibly a $20,000 expenditure for the next, if we do decide to do it, and the county and the city of Edgemont participate. We can pull those out of the funds that you would give us as well. On another note, we had a meeting Friday at Shedco, and Cindy and Nolan were both in attendance of that meeting. We had Randy Stratton of the Stratton Group talk to us about millennials. And if you want to talk about millennials and what millennials' role plays in today's economy, come and see me or talk to Nolan or Cindy. I'm sure they'd be more than happy that we walked to that meeting very impressed with him. But with him comes a cost, and that's yet to be determined whether we have the funds available to play that game. But he does have contacts in the Boulder, Colorado area that could be very enticing, let's put it that way. It's not
So you don't have an estimate from him yet for?
We had an initial estimate of him for $20,000. That's not going to fly. That's way too much money without any guarantees. We are tossing around ideas of making it a scenario where you bring somebody, you get paid type scenario, an upfront money. He's done all the legwork and all the work associated with it. Now he wants to get paid for it by sending people our way, basically, in a nutshell. And that's the way I understand, and the way I understood it for him. So it's going to be negotiated out yet. It's a big conversation among Shedco as well as our city partners and the county partners where we want to proceed with that, and if we should. It's a very interesting concept. Like I said, I can talk another 20 minutes on that, but we can talk privately. And I want you all to be aware of, I am always available, Andrew is always available. I'm more than happy to sit down with an individual council member or 2 or 3. I know I can't take more than 3 at a time for open meeting laws, so I won't go that extreme, but we are always open. Plus, bear in mind, every third Friday at noon is our monthly Shedco meeting, and you as council people are always invited to attend. And I'm open for questions. I think I'm under my time, aren't I?
You are, you're doing great.
Okay.
Good job, Brian.
Thank you, Brian. Statement and then a couple of questions.
Okay.
I want to acknowledge that you have worked very closely with Save the VA to let them know what your plans are, and I know they've shared with you the concern that Plan B not become Plan A and the reasons behind that. So I just want to acknowledge that you've been good about talking with them and keeping them up to date with what Shedco's doing. So thank you for that. You mentioned that there are some city employees that are involved with your organization. Can you share who those folks are?
City, no, only to the extent that the mayor and Nolan have been participating in our meetings, but that's the extent of what I meant.
Attended the meeting.
Okay.
They attend our meetings.
Okay. So that's what you mean by involved with your organization?
Right. Yep.
Okay. Thank you.
Can I ask you a question?
Absolutely.
Okay, you've got repurposed the VA, $25,000, that's a grant?
Correct.
And then you're saying that's offsetting the consultant fees to Black Hills Vision.
The consulting fee is what we paid to M3, the consulting firm.
Is that what Bruce Rampelberg has been involved with?
Bruce Rampelberg was the head of the Black Hills Vision.
He's
and
not any longer?
He has stepped down from that. He is no longer their executive
Are
director.
they still paying someone else $70,000 a year?
I would assume so.
Okay.
I feel fortunate that we did get in the opportunity to get the money back from them, basically the equivalent of what the city and the county put into their group over the course of the last 3 years. So that $25,000 out of there is basically like the city and or the county giving us the money directly to do this, is the way I look at that.
I agree. I was watching for that because that was one of our questions, how much is coming back to us?
And they've offered that there could be more, but from what I'm hearing, there are a lot of municipalities and other large organizations that are backing out of the group. So I'm not being a naysayer here, but there's people backing out, and I think they're all seeing the light. You pay your executive director $70,000, and you just paid him $5,000 in the city of Hot Springs, and you just covered 1/12 of his salary. So it's a little bit hard to swallow.
I have a question. If someone asked me why I voted to give Shedco money, what am I going to tell them? I'm going to say specifically, you've done this, this, and this to earn this money from.
In the last year, I thought about this as well, Carol Ann, and I want to parlay this there's ups and downs in economic development. I've been involved in this for 3 years now, and I really hope to come to you guys this year and say, hey, we got a Black Hills Power building donated to us by Black Hills Power, because quite frankly, I was in the ears of Black Hills Corp for about 4 months before that building sold to that individual that's in there now. We were that close. That's the disappointments of economic development. I really wanted there to be able to come before the council and to have a ground announcement that we have Black Hills Corp's building donated to Shedco, and we had a distiller ready to move in there because we did. But now, because that building's not available, he suddenly lost his interest. There's not really anything else that he wants. We have our highs and our lows. But as far as what Shedco has done, and I think you're very aware, as well as many other council people are, there's a community engagement process, which is a huge success in my mind. That's been upwards of 300 to 350 people attending over different groups of 5 different groups over the course of the last year. We have just completed our first year, getting ready to start year 2. I think all of you are familiar with Christy Wagner. She's an in-your-face, get you pumped up type of person. We're transitioning out of Christy into me. I will be taking over her role, and she will act as consultant for the next year. Okay, but community service is a Shedco-sponsored event that I'm very proud of. And I started it, I called the instigator because I instigated that process. I believe in it. And I had a meeting just last week in the Civic Center here talking about, from all the groups, the heads of all 5 groups, talking about what they've been doing, what their 90-day challenges were. And there's some exciting things coming down the road, I can tell you that. So watch for those details and things like that.
Brian, can I have a clarification?
Absolutely.
The Southern Hills Economic Development Corporation profit and loss statement that you provided, that was for only January through July, so that would be the 6 months?
As a year to date, yes.
I could ask on that note where the city money is in that, because by this time you should have had 2 $5,000 checks from the
Correct.
city.
Yep.
And I don't see that.
We put that into, I believe, I do the books, and I'm going to be very honest with you, I'm not sure where that comes into play. I think it's considered memberships. Annual memberships is where I put that, because you're considered a member.
Okay, thanks.
And we do all our members the same way. We have upwards of 125 members who donate anywhere from $50 to $1,000 per year to belong to Shedco, and we don't benefit anything from that. If we draw a multi-million-dollar business to Main Street, Hot Springs, not one of the Shedco members will get a dime out of it. The only ones that benefit are the city and the county through property taxes and sales taxes.
Do you have any other questions? Brian?
Okay. Anybody else?
I just had a quick question. Black Hills Vision, I saw that they were requesting money this year.
Correct.
Correct.
They're not.
They're not.
I'll take
They're
it.
not.
I'll be blunt, I'll take it. Bob, you have a question?
Opportunist, huh?
Pardon me?
I said you're an opportunist, huh?
Absolutely.
One of the things that I've heard out in the community is that some people feel like Shedco is in essence a pass-through for some of the money that's coming from the city, going out to other organizations, and Shedco gets credit for it rather than Hot Springs getting credit for it when that's where the money generated from.
I'm not aware that any money goes to any other organizations, Bob. We belong to like the Chamber of Commerce, we belong to the State Economic Development Corporation. We don't, when Kristen Stewart from the Vault got to become a member of Dakota Rising, that $10,000 she got was from Dakota Resources, not from Shedco. Shedco pays $7,500 a year. For the last 2 years prior, it was $5,000 a year. But we don't act as a pass-through. We don't fund any other things. Our budget of roughly $80,000 or less is salaries, travel, meals, per diem, things like that. Board members don't get reimbursed. We don't just funnel money to other organizations, no.
Thank you.
Can I ask what Edgemont contributes then?
Last year was $1,000, and I believe we're going to go higher than that this year. Plus, we're hitting them up for a third of the water study, so we're hitting them up for $7,000 additional too. So, and that would just be that would be in essence funneled through Shedco to the water study. And my time's up, I know.
Yep, your time's up, I'm sorry.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Brian. So we're right on time, Hot Springs Volunteer Fire Department.
I won't talk as long as Brian, I guarantee you.
Damn it.
I can try if you want me. We're requesting $130,000 this year for the operating, maintenance, training, whatever you want to, category you want to put it in. Everything that we've got listed, we give you a breakdown of our expenses for last year, for 2015. It's not, it doesn't have anything to do with this year. I think Bob requested that at our last meeting that we had. And everything that funding request form, everything that we're requesting is on there, for, operations. Shows the income from fire district, insurance companies, donations. We don't bill individual people. We'll bill their insurance company, but we will not bill an individual person for any fire suppression. If they live in the city limits of Hot Springs, or if they have a structure fire in the fire district, we do not bill those people directly. We'll bill their insurance companies. Whatever we get out of insurance company, we'll take.
What if they don't have insurance?
That's just one of those, maybe we'll get something, maybe we won't. Just insight, everybody's insurance policy has got a fire suppression on it. You just never look at it, you don't see it. Most residential is $500. Whether we're there 1 hour or we're there for 1 week. If you've got a real hardcore insurance company, that's all they'll pay. But we bill them on the state rate for our engines and our manpower. And most of the time, we get paid what we bill them. I'm going to say probably 95% of the time. Every once in a while, you get somebody that says this, that's all we're paying. So commercial property is usually $1,500. You have any questions on the expenses or anything else?
Last year you got the bunker gear. I know we talked at the admin meeting, so we had a little bit more of the same information, but you're going to get another Ford this year, or what's the?
The bunker gear, we got a matching $4,000 grant. We spent right at $20,000. Actually, it would have been $24,000 with the grant, but it's matching. And we got 10 sets or 12 sets? Yeah. 10 sets. They run about $2,200 a piece. And that's just coat and pants. We have to replace those every 10 to 15 years or else they're considered obsolete because everything changes so fast that the stuff we're running on right now, we're running right at 12 years. So we're kind of playing that line with the insurance company. If somebody gets hurt, could be a big deal. I don't know. It's, so
Not
we're
find
just,
out.
yeah, we don't want to find out.
No. I didn't understand, what are you replacing this year? Is your additional amount in the budget for a piece of equipment you're going to replace?
We're replacing, right now, we're replacing our bunker gear, individual bunker gear that each person has to have. If we replaced it all, if we were going helmet, Nomex hood, gloves, boots, coat, pants, you'd be looking right at $4,800 per person.
How many do you have?
Right now, 40.
Okay.
And on some of the, well, on the sheet, it says our income, we've all got that. And it does show some different income sources that we have. But fire district was one, now that was 31,000. And the expenses, just like we got a grant for the generator in January, $48,000 for 2 generators for the old building, new building. But we ended up spending right at 56,000, 58,000, because we had to pour the pads, we had to put the fence up, we had to get the electrician to do the hookup. That wasn't part of that grant, that was just the generators. So that was, that's out of pocket. Another $8,000 to $10,000 we spent there. The truck maintenance, our ladder truck, we spent $50,000 on that. If we hadn't had a little bit of a cushion that we talked to Bob about earlier, no, we got some cash in the bank, but that's what it's for. Emergency breakdowns, and by the time that was all said and done, $50,000, we don't want to have to go get a loan, because that's just not the way we want to operate.
Can I say something, Jim? You said that the county gives you money, like 20,000 or something like that, or how much was it?
That is insurance rebates, because of our ISO rating. We get a rebate back from the county, and it's ISO rating rebates. The insurance company gives us a rebate when it goes through the county. And then there's some, we got $55 rebate on work comp. I don't know why they wrote that check, but
I think we asked you, is the county really giving their share, is what our question was before. Did you?
yeah. County, we can't, because we are a fire district, we can go to the county and beg, but it's not going to do us any good. Because we have a rural fire district. The City of Hot Springs is not in that fire district. It's, what do we got, 324 square miles from north to south, east to west that we cover. And that would involve the City of Hot Springs too, with mileage,
Well, this
but we
new-
go after a lot of grants, We just got another South Dakota Volunteer Fire Department grant. And that's another $4,000, but then we're using that for clothing. We're using it for Nomex shirts and pants. That everybody thinks it's for wildfire, but we use it all the time. We use every piece of equipment we have used in the city limits of Hot Springs for a fire. No, we don't just say that's a district vehicle, that stays there. We use them wherever we have to, so.
I did ask you to what you do with your old ones, and somebody, you can go ahead and tell everybody.
Can't sell them, won't give them away, because we don't want sued if somebody gets hurt with them.
But some of them will throw them in their vehicle to take
Yeah.
if they're out
Yeah,
somewhere.
they work good for hunting.
Well,
You
if
know,
they're not
I
able
mean-
to get in to get their gear though, right?
Anybody that is on our fire department, they're responsible for their gear, whether it's at the fire hall or in the vehicles or what they do. That's checked out to them, they're responsible for it. I don't care where they put it. As long as they got it when we got a call. The old stuff, basically get that away because there's too much liability with the old stuff. We don't want, I don't want to be talking to a bunch of lawyers, you know?
And I just wanted to say it was nice that you had such a presence during the 4th of July, and the masquerade ball was fantastic. And
That was fun.
it really brings an awareness to the people how much you do, and the dinners and everything, that was really cool.
Thank you.
I want to thank you for, we don't get to thank you all very often, and hopefully we don't see you at our houses. So we do appreciate you for everything you do.
And I think last
And the
year we
Edgemont
talked
Fire.
about audits or financial statements. Is that something that you can provide?
Yeah, we get audited twice a year.
Is that something you're interested in seeing?
We do our own internal audit, and then we get audited. Stan Nace audits our books for the IRS, anything. We have nothing to hide. Yeah, we get audited.
Even just one copy that you can come in and look at. We don't have to distribute
Yeah, we
them.
might.
Right.
We can get that. Yeah.
Get that to Misty.
Thank you.
And then anybody on the council who wants to see it.
We were off 10 cents 2 years ago on the budget, or on the audit, and Jerry still hasn't messed up where that 10 cents is.
Maybe he should just,
I give him $1 a year covered.
Jim, I have a quick question, just to go back to the Fall River County premium refund, the $13,390.69, that's the total we've gotten back from the county that you've been provided in any funding from the county?
Yeah,
Okay.
but that is the insurance refund. My understanding, right?
Yeah, and there's
Yeah,
also
that's-
Custer's refund on there too. From Custer County.
Pardon? That's
Pardon?
also what?
Part of it's from Custer County too.
Oh, pardon.
408,
Yeah, they're separate on there,
yeah,
not very much. Couple hundred,
408.
yeah.
Actually, these guys have been very forward with all their finance stuff, as Andrea will attest to also. You go to one of their meetings if you got any questions.
Yep,
They're above board on anything that I've ever had to ask them about.
yep, agreed.
And their financial statements are excellent.
Thank you, guys.
All right, thank you.
Thank
You
you.
can just write me a check 1st of January. Or... Tim will.
Jim?
Well, I gotta try.
try every year.
Brian tried.
You gotta try.
Thank you guys for everything you do. I do have a couple questions. And it goes back to what Kara was just talking about. As far as Fall River County, they don't have a fixed amount like you're requesting from the city that you're assured of getting from them every year. It's just whatever refunds that
No, we're not
you
assured.
happen to qualify for. So they don't say you're going to get X amount of dollars every year from the county. Okay. And then you had talked about the $50,000 truck maintenance on the ladder engine. Is that's a lot of money. Is that kind of standard when you do a truck maintenance? I mean, is that what you're going to be looking at, or this one just needed a lot? Or
This one was getting taken to wrap and do about $9,000 worth of work on it. And the motor blew up on it on the way to wrapping.
okay,
And so, that was just one of those costs, we were figuring about $8,000 to $9,000 to fix cylinders on it.
uh-huh.
And it ended up $50,000 plus the cylinder cost.
Okay.
It was just one of those things we didn't, I'm glad it happened going to wrapping, not when it was on fire.
Amen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jim.
Thank you, guys. Council, you did have some late requests. Hot Springs Senior Citizen Center, I believe, is here to speak, and it doesn't look like a representative from the Boys and Girls Club is here. But you have their request, and then also the elderly meals. You have his request, not the financials. He is at the Rural X Summit with Kim and Christy Wagner from Dakota Resources and Andrea Powers from Shedco. So he did offer to come and speak to you at a council meeting, or at a budget hearing if you're interested in that. But I think we have Milton Burke from the Senior Citizen Center if you're willing to listen to the late request.
Absolutely.
All right, you're at Milton.
Yes, I apologize for being late request, but it kind of slipped through the crack. I didn't, because I don't read the paper. But basically what it boils down to, we're just asking for supplemental funding of $3,000 as we have in the past, just for general operating expenses.
By that you mean like utilities and?
Well, yeah, utilities or buying food for our fundraisers or paying light bills or whatever.
This is for the senior citizens?
For the Senior Citizen Center, yes.
What kind of projects generate your 17,000 in income?
Well, we have pancake, from September through May, we have pancake suppers that we have. We have on the third Saturday, we have breakfast that we throw out, and then we have Texas Hold'em tournaments every Friday and every Tuesday, and we have bingo on the fourth Saturday of the month.
Those are fairly well-attended events?
But, it could be better, but they're not bad.
I see 4,100 comes from Fall River County.
Yes, we get, well, hopefully we'll get 4,100 from Fall River County this year.
Is that what you received from them before?
That's what we got from them last year. We're basically just asking the same this year as we got last year.
Okay. Any other questions?
If I'm looking at your proposed budget correctly, you anticipate losing money.
If I remember correctly, $100 or so.
It looks like it's a little more than that. Who covers the loss?
We have some money in the savings account for memorial monies that we get. If we end up with a loss, we have to dip into our savings account. I forgot what. Well, yeah, it's about $300 or $400. Yeah, if something doesn't show up, like some memorial money or anything like that, we end up dipping into our savings account.
How many members do you have?
We have, let's see, I got it written down here. We have a total of 192 members.
And they're from the county and the city?
Yes, most of them are in the local area. It would be, Hot Springs, Oro, Edgemont, Custer. We have about 10 to 12 that moved away. They're lifetime members, and they moved to Colorado or a different part of the state. Then we have a few that live in, like a place like Rapid City or a place like that. So, but the majority of them are local.
I'm just going to say your membership and dues isn't very much, I guess.
Well, of the 192 members, 50 of them are annual members, and the other 142 are lifetime members. So it's just the annual members that we get money from, and then of course any new members that show up. We had a push a few years back to, for life members, and we had quite a few people converted from annual to life. So that's a one-time payment.
Because they're over 90?
Pardon? No.
I know over 90 it's lifetime.
Well, we do, if you get 90 years old or older, if they're an annual member, we'll quote, give them a life membership, just, by reaching that age. We have a few of those, but some of those are also already life members, so.
Oh. I don't have any more. Anybody else?
Thank you for all your information.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Thank you for your time.
Yeah.
All right, I suppose if no one is here to speak on behalf of the Boys and Girls Club, then we can just recess until our 7 o'clock meeting.
before we recess, are these the Elderly Meals Program and the Boys and Girls Club, are they still going to be able to present to us during our budget hearings? Or have they lost the opportunity to?
I would make that council's decision.
I would make a motion if, okay, we can't do anything. All right.
But if you
Well-
say okay, then I'll let them know that they can present during.
I think it's only,
I think they should be allowed to make their presentation. They were a part of it last year.
If y'all agree, I agree with that. Let them know in the first, at the beginning of the first budget hearing on.
And encourage them to,
Yes.
check next year.
I sure will. Read the newspaper.
Yes.
All right, thanks.
Thank you. Reminder to the council, if you have any conflicts of interest, please abstain. I need a motion for the agenda or any changes? I have none.
Motion to approve?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, we'll use the agenda that we have. We need to approve the minutes from the July 5th City Council meeting.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Bills in between.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Current claims.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Discussion?
I have a question.
Okay.
We've got all this wood out there, why are we paying for playground chips for $3,000?
What page are you on?
We all asked this question.
It's on page 4, about 4 up from the bottom, playground chips.
Yeah, so we are required to meet certain standards for their fall zones. They go below swing sets, they go below slides, playground equipment. They have to be of a certain grade. They don't have any irregularities. Basically, you have to have them certified to be playground and fall zone wood chips before they're used.
They're called engineers.
We can't just use, chipped, regular traditional wood. It has to be a certain type to meet specification.
Are these the same chips that we used around the trees?
Those were last year's chips that set out in the weather. The ones we're using for these are now stored inside, and they'll be placed out as we have time to do so. Yeah, but it's very similar to that product that we have at Brookside Park, very similar to that.
So we're reusing last year's chips
Yes, the ones that
for
were
non-playground
excess
use?
for the Brookside Playground, correct.
Okay.
The new ones are being stored though inside until they're placed permanently under the fall zone. This overarching, it replaces the pea gravel and the sand to make our playgrounds more ADA compliant, which is a big critical step for the tall grass master plan.
It was a discussion item during our property evaluations that we just went through last week as well. And so we have the material in place to put the fall zone wood, manufactured wood fibers down, but he was telling us we needed to do that for our insurance just last week.
Good question. Any others?
I do have a question. How many meters did we end up getting then for this 28,000? On page 4, middle of the page?
Yeah, I'd have to check the exact bill we have from them. They're different types of meters. I think altogether it totals to around $120 per meter approximately. So there's some math involved there. It's not just meters though in the bill. It does include a new hand unit reader. That's also, I think, a $6,000 item.
I think it was 30% of the
Yeah.
total meters we have.
Approximately.
And we can certainly look at the bill for you.
Yeah, I can stop it down, okay?
We've got $4,000 for rock on the Freedom Trail.
Didn't hear that.
$4,000 for rock on the Freedom Trail?
All that rock riprap you see along the trail there, that's what that expense comes from. Yeah. And if you look, it's from Big Bats all the way down to the waterfall in Kindy Springs, so it's fairly extensive. Well, you see it every day, so you know where it's at, but that's the cost through Hills.
I'm just wondering where this money's all coming from out of our Parks Department.
The parks, it's within the parks budget. And also this will, once we're done with the project, we'll have, I think the grand total, 8,000 at least coming back to the city from the grant we received last year. So we will be reimbursed for part of the expense, not the full expense, but part of the expense.
Okay.
And that's when the project's finished. We submit our receipts, checks cleared, and we'll get reimbursed to the state.
All right, okay.
I have one more question. As far as our advertisements and stuff, we've gone a lot further in doing more advertisements and all that. I know, well, it says half on this one, and then there's, I mean, about each time we're like up to $700 in advertisement fees. And do you keep track of how much actually we have increased in the last year?
Do you mind pointing out a page you're at to discuss the item?
Well, the only one the Visitor magazine, I know that one is usually what we've always done.
Yeah, we keep
180 on
track
page
with
6.
an internal spreadsheet of our advertising expenses separately of the golf course and the plunge and the other places do advertise. Essentially, though, the Blue Book is the ultimate authority of where you're at year-to-date with your marketing budgets, your publishing budgets is what we header them as.
Are you within budget? Nolan, I could barely understand you. Are you within budget then on the advertising?
Yes, again, the Blue Book is the ultimate authority where you're at. When you look to advertising expenses, look at the publishing line, that's where they come out of in Evans Plunge and the golf course.
I just wanted to make sure I was looking at the right bill, Georgia, on page 6, that
Yeah. It's just,
$180 to Visitor magazine?
yeah.
Did you say something about $18,000? Oh, I thought I heard a way bigger number.
No,
earlier.
1,800.
One
No.
hundred.
180, I'm sorry.
180.
Yeah, I said it wrong. Okay.
Under $200.
Under 200. I did have one more question, and that is on page 9. We're buying safety kits for ibuprofen and leave and all that.
That's here at the Mueller Civic Center. They have a contract with Twilight. They come and look at their first aid station and fill it with individual, or, per serving, I don't know what you call those packets. I have the same questions because I could buy a bottle of ibuprofen.
Yeah, I was going to say
For
that.
those.
But they come and fill it, yeah, you can't expense it like that. So, and I did talk to Chris about it, and
Okay, that
he
makes
feels
sense.
comfortable
Okay.
with the service, so good question.
I think I had a question along that same line. Maybe
You did.
a little tiny question to the attorney, sometimes squeeze it in. Is it okay, could we ever be sued if we gave somebody one of those medicines and they had a reaction?
Yeah, and my
It
initial
should be
response is
yes
they
or
have to
no.
ask for it.
Take
but-
about 5 minutes. I don't think it matters if they ask, if we gave it to them and they had a reaction, that's what I want to know. Thank you.
Yep. And also to keep track, Caroline
Yes,
asked
to
that we
keep track of
keep
that.
track of what's used.
Yep.
Good questions? We have any more?
I have one more, and that's on the last page, on page 12. For our business product citations, what is that?
According to Mike, the ability to list more than one citation on a ticket just was passed. Am I right, Zach? I'm looking at you. So they needed, used to be, if I did 3 things wrong, I got 3 separate tickets. So that's the way their tickets were designed. I was asked to clarify with Mike if he used up his old supply first, and I don't have that answer yet, but these are the new citations that allow them to write. What?
They're gone.
They're gone, thank you.
They've been gone for a while.
That's
Awesome.
a lot of money for citations.
It's quite a few citations.
Yeah,
It would
but
be
it'll-
like a year's
I mean, it's-
supply or.
In the long run, it's gonna save us a lot of money because the cost per ticket didn't go up, but now we can use one ticket instead of using 3 tickets in the same place.
Okay.
Awesome, thank you.
Good question, again, thank you. Any others? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Paid our bills, appreciate that. Under communications from the public, a Lori Zimion has requested to speak. Is she here tonight? It's a nice summer evening. Okay, are there any other communications from the public? right, I'm going to move to personnel. We usually put them all together. I would propose we do that again unless there's questions.
I do have a question. Did we do, this is just a general question, which you probably say is inappropriate for the people that are in here, but do we do background checks on people before we hire them?
To a certain extent, but not in detail unless there's a flag.
I would like to have D separated from the rest of them.
Okay. Fine with that.
There's a second level.
I'll second.
So Tim, to clarify, your motion is to approve all items A through C. Is that correct?
Yes.
So I have a motion to combine A through C. I need a second.
A second.
Okay. All in favor of A through C?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carried for those three. Item D,
Make a motion that we refer that to executive session.
executive session.
That's a personnel.
I need a second.
Chris has a second.
Would we come out and vote on it after executive?
Yes, we
There's a
can.
possibility of
So
that.
with possibility.
Possible action after
So I have a
executive.
motion and a second to move item D of personnel to executive session with a possible decision afterwards. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye. Is there a reason that we can't discuss it in open session?
Because there's personnel,
Okay, but does it have anything to do with performance?
in a way it does.
All right.
Either
Still
way,
opposed.
It passed, so we will discuss item D in executive session this evening with a possible decision afterwards. Thank you. That's the last personnel item, so I'm going to go to committee reports, admin and finance. Georgia.
Admin and Finance met July 11th at 1 o'clock, and the Hot Springs Fire Department came and they gave us pretty much the same information you got tonight. We did look at the appropriation ordinance for the police vehicle, and that information looked appropriate. The pass-through grant was recommended for the, can you tell me what these are? CDBG.
Community Development Block Grant.
Okay.
That is in regards to the ambulance bill.
Right, okay. Anyway, it was recommended that we let them go through,
Well,
that through grant, go through GAAP, which is,
so what was advised to us by our attorneys, or our auditors through GAAP practices is to create a separate budget line item in our 2017 budget to account for us being a pass-through.
It's 2016 funds. To recognize it as the pass-through agent, even though we never received the dollars, we need to recognize in our financial statements that the city of Hot Springs was awarded that money, and then we'll have an offsetting expense of the exact dollar amount.
okay,
Do
thank
we
you.
have to do that for previous years then?
Sorry?
Do we have to do that for previous years
We don't
then?
have to go backwards.
We don't have to, okay.
Good. Then we also looked at some of the signage designs that were being proposed and a bid that was being presented. Nolan gave us some information on that. We'll probably look at that later. We did review a draft policy of elected officials consulting with the attorney, and we did a few changes on that. That'll come to the council. A special reminder for the Code of Ethics was put in everybody's packet, and if you have any issues, that was something that we passed, let's see, 2 years ago, but new council members might not be aware of it, so it was asked to put in the folder. We did have a request if we could get packets earlier, and right now they're by 8 a.m. on Friday, so I don't know if any other council people have anything to say about that.
Well, If I can comment, I mean, the farther ahead of a meeting, the more changes we can possibly have.
Yes.
So I would prefer not to do that, just,
Okay, well,
because we discuss it on Thursday with the department heads, and we have to have time after that meeting to prepare.
that it was just brought up by one of the councilmen.
Okay.
Then we talked about the Black Hills Energy poles, wood poles, and the parks are going to receive in the city different metal poles. Is that right? There are different ones for some places, but anyway, the parks can probably talk more about that one. But we did talk about it and what ones were better than others. That was about it.
Okay. Thank you, Georgia.
So in reference to the administrative, I agree with George. I'd like to get the packets a little earlier. I'd like to get as much data as possible. I'd like to really understand, what's being recommended from the different committees. And I just feel that it puts pressure on the office folks if there's only Friday and Monday to get that done. So if somehow it could be, moved up a week ahead of time or whatever, but I would like some additional time if at all possible.
You need additional time to look at the packet.
Yes, to have the packet available more than Friday morning, and then, the office staff still have their business to do, and I'm in there asking them questions. If I could spread that out over a longer period of time and accommodate their schedules better, it would work better for me, if at all possible.
There's actually, I know you haven't been able to find it, but 10 years ago, there was a motion made to have the packets ready, I believe, on Thursday. You'd have to go back and look for it, but they were for years, I believe they came out a day ahead. Doesn't matter to me, but.
I heard a day and a week.
Pardon?
I heard a day from you and maybe a week from Bob earlier. We're entering bills until Thursday evening, stuffing packets, have them available by Friday morning, have all of Friday, all of Saturday, all of Sunday, and all of Monday until the meeting. I'm happy to try to get them earlier, but know that that will have an impact on the information that you receive and then on every department who's submitting their bills to be approved by the council meetings, which are set by ordinance.
It may have been Thursday afternoon at 5 or something, I'm not sure. Somebody probably remembers, and it was actually your office that requested it.
We have them Thursday by 5, we just leave by 5.
Yeah.
I gotta agree, I think at one time it was set up that they were supposed to be ready by noon on Thursday.
Yeah, it was.
The only thing I'm saying is, just like Bob, if for me it don't make any difference, but we've got these people that work all day, like Andrea here, by the time she gets her packet at 4:30 on Friday afternoon, she really hasn't got any time to question anything, because the office are closed except for Monday, and she works all day Monday too, so I just for information, I think it'd be a little better if it give us just a little more time.
Would it make a difference if it were Thursday afternoon?
Yes, I think.
I believe so.
Well, it used to be people would leave on Friday and not get them then until Monday or something later. So Thursday noon actually was one that was very.
It used to be delivered here.
I didn't have it delivered to my
We
house.
deliver them to online at 8 a.m. Friday morning, so everybody, the whole Hot Springs has them at Friday morning. Even Andrea can log into work and access it.
She does.
I'm sure she does too. What we do at City Hall, to answer your questions about staff time, is Fridays actually work the best for us. We find that call volume and email volume on Fridays is much lower than other days. So Friday's a good day to reach both Misty and myself with questions, as is Monday. We block out time on Monday to work with you. That's when we expect you guys to have those questions. We budget that into our time to facilitate your questions. That almost is more convenient to us than interruptions throughout the week that we can't really schedule for. If we know they're coming Friday and Monday, that's easier for us to work with you rather than, hey, are you free this day? It's a Tuesday or Wednesday. Most likely we have committee meetings those days. So the Monday and Friday works pretty well for us to be more available to you.
That's kind of the first time I heard you blocked out time for it.
Well, there's a parade, people pick them off, and they do, the staff does spend a lot of time on after people pick up their packets.
We're happy to.
And they're happy to do that, and they plan to do that, because that's when the packet's available. Bob, I understand what you're saying, I know you like to take deep dives into the data. My concern, again, is just this the sooner before, or, you know, the longer period of time before the meeting, the less accurate the data could possibly be. We get invoices after, you know, there may be certain things that we could, you know, if it's something really important, get the information sooner, but like Misty said, the bills and things like that are on the schedule with the staff.
I understand what you're saying there, and for me, I look at the bills separately from some of the other issues that I like to research. It certainly makes sense to have the bills as accurate to the Monday meeting as possible. And if the office staff wants to commit themselves to always being there Friday and Monday before the council meetings and, you know, make their time available, I can accommodate that too.
As Nolan said, they plan that, so
Maybe some.
And we always do
they see that as
appreciate,
their job.
we do appreciate the advance notice if you guys do want to meet anytime. I mean, just even a courteous text, are you free this time? I'll get right back to you with that. It's difficult at times when you just come in out of unscheduled or unplanned, when I've already had my day planned or have that hour planned, and then you're asking me different questions. It's difficult to transition that way, but you know, we'll work with you the best you can. No problem at all for that.
Thanks for the good discussion on that. We'll see. All right, B, Airport Advisory Committee, Georgia.
We didn't have any meeting yet. We will have one the 29th at 8 in the morning. I did go out with Nolan and 2 other council people we did tours around to a lot of the departments, and the airport was one of them. We do have 17 people now on a waiting list for the hangars. The fire plane is very busy, as everybody knows. They've been going out to seaplane quite a bit. They did want to express a thank you. The grass runway, which they land on when they come back, I guess, preserves their tires. There's a certain way, but anyway, we got the roller out there when it was wet, and it smoothed it out, and they said thank you, thank you, thank you. So I wanted everybody to know that was taken care of. The Chamber of Commerce is looking at doing a hot air balloon festival out there again. And they did visit a little bit about department meetings for the airport for their budget. And that was probably all kind of.
In the hangar guidelines or something, just
yes.
to give those that like a heads up that.
Next meeting, we should get that in.
You will be getting that in your packet, August 1st, the hangar construction guidelines. So that's something we could probably share early.
Yeah, they're anxious to get that started.
Okay.
How long are your meetings when you have them out there?
About an hour and a half, maybe. And they always have coffee
They
and
have
donuts.
coffee and donuts. So it takes a little longer.
Yeah, if you want to come anytime, just coffee.
I keep saying I'm going to, but
Yeah, they're a little more relaxed, I'll say. Thanks, Georgia.
Yeah.
Chamber of Commerce, and we don't have a meeting this.
There's a meeting this Wednesday at noon.
I thought I just saw an email that it was,
Just came over email today.
that it is this month. Okay. Guess I better look at it closer. Thanks, Kara. Andrea had a really good time at the Custer Fall River Regional Waste Management District meeting.
That's an eye-opener.
it was, and I walked in with my, I don't really know, but, okay, so I have a lot to learn, and so I apologize if anyone's listening to this or watching me on TV and I missed something up. So, they discussed opening some additional accounts and moving some money around per the FDIC and the $20,000 limit there. They reported that their tonnage was up for May and June of this year compared to last year. Starting soon, they're going to, any accounts that are older than 60 days, they're going to start assessing a fee. And one of those currently of the 4 are going to small claims court right now. The audit was scheduled and will be coming up here shortly. They voted on the same auditor, which is Independent Audit Services, which will be due in September again this year, and that costs $4,000 a year they budget for.
The big thing, I guess, was that FNG showed up and talked about the VOCs that was in one of the wells that were reported to DENR.
Can you, what are B and G?
Don't ask me.
Oh, okay, sorry.
It is, yeah, something that isn't supposed to be in a well. And so that DNR says, not good. Okay, this is what I'm gathering, learning, first meeting, total eye opener. So in order to correct these, they are going to remove 4 of the wells and they're going to move into the other 3 wells and use those, the 2021 and 22.
You mean cells?
Cells, probably. Cells.
Cells, sorry, yep.
That makes more sense.
And then there was a discussion of replacing a loader very soon, and they had new election of officers. Larry Livingston is still the chair, with Linda Mines as the deputy secretary. That's all I have.
We appreciate your willingness to learn about this, and Misty's going to get you some additional information.
And Misty and I need to talk, so.
Yeah, so.
I'm learning. I'll be.
Thank you both.
Way more educated next time I come.
You're doing great.
I'll know what a VOC is next time, Misty.
Yeah.
What it stands for. What it stands for. VOC.
Volatile.
Yes.
Some organic.
Yeah.
Contaminants.
There you go.
We have to test for them for our water, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you.
Somebody do that.
All right, item E, Carol Ann, the Downtown Historic Preservation Commission.
We did not meet.
All right.
We'll meet in August, first week on
Okay.
Wednesday.
Thank you. Kara Evans Plunge.
Meeting this Thursday night at 7 p.m.
Thank you. Krista, Parks, Recreation, Beautification, and Cultural Development.
Yes. Well, our parks are, as you've probably seen, because I've been in them quite a bit this weekend, that the parks have been very busy, and including myself. We've been enjoying them. They're absolutely beautiful. Gotten a lot of compliments on the Freedom Trail and all the parks. So I had a chance. I happened to stop by City Hall unannounced, and yes, and I got to thank the guys for doing such a great job. So I was really happy to do that. The crews are moving the parks, mowing the parks today and tomorrow, as well as along Freedom Trail. The crews will be continuing to add rock and stabilization along Freedom Trail this week, and the project is almost complete, with only a few sections remaining. And this goes along with the 2015 RTP grant. We did not receive the 2016 RT grant for the trail system in Butler Park, unfortunately. This project has not been pursued further without that grant assistance. We do plan on applying for the RTP grant for 2017 for the extension of Freedom Trail from Evans Plunge to Chautauqua Parks following the former railroad bed. Personnel are continuing mulching trees in Butler Park along with parks, and they will also be mulched. Employees are beginning to paint the structures at Butler Park. We have painted the one dugout and finished the restroom building. We still have yet to paint the remaining dugouts, Crow's Nest at the baseball field and the middle backstops at both baseball fields. And they are also working on pulling up the water tank for the ATV and water park to water the pods and trees. I did have a question last week from one of the council members about that we already had a truck, and I looked into that, and yes, we do, but that one's too big, and that's the one for the pods on the street. But the one that they're trying to get will go through the park, you know, can fit through the park. So,
Are they watering them?
You're watering the pods, aren't you?
I don't think we have had to yet, no.
No, we
Binos are cared for by the Keep Hot Springs Beautiful pod adoptees or adopters.
Oh,
If asked, though, we would make, be able to help them.
In the past, the city has.
I know in the past we've helped, we've also hindered, we flooded a few pods or two by helping with water. But so far, it's being all volunteer driven. If we're asked, we'd be happy to step up and do it appropriately.
and if I'm not mistaken, we're still open for volunteers for any painting at Butler Park?
Oh, volunteers for anything.
So, if anybody's out there that would like to volunteer.
The airport and our parks are both primed for volunteer projects.
And then as far as, we still have the play here at the Mueller Center that's coming up, I believe, Thursday. The Matchmaker, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, the 21st, I think that's 22nd, 23rd.
We are not in the play,
No.
so it should be really good.
But the tickets, if you're looking for them, are available here at the Mueller Center. And that's all I've got.
Thanks, Krista. You got a lot going on. Appreciate it. Okay, no P&Z tonight. Public safety,
Public safety will be Wednesday at 2 o'clock.
City Hall. Public Works.
Did have a Public Works. We talked about the difference between buying a wood chipper and going out for bids or hiring somebody to chip all our brush piles out there. We used to burn them, but due to the fact of the expansion on that end of town with the hospital and everything, why it's not a good deal anymore. We did discuss the water users contract. It's not up till 2022, so we're not going to pursue that anymore. We talked about getting grants to replace the Jennings Bridge. This is a huge grant that we're asking for. It's what?
1.6 million.
1.6 million. It's a 80-20, if I remember right.
Yep.
And what we would do is, that's the bridge that the fire department uses to go back and forth. And what it would be is, rather than just a temporary fix type thing, we're trying to completely rebuild it, tear it out of there and put a whole brand new one in. Save us in the long run a lot of money. Discussed Mark Wienia on the Albany project. We haven't got that final change order done up yet. Tracy's still working out at Boulder Falls. The way he says, he's just about done out there with locating all the survey points. Discussed several chip seal, getting some rough spots filled out in the streets around there. The water meter deal is going to start quickly.
Should be this week.
Understand. The loading dock right now we're in the process of trying to make up our minds if we want to asphalt it or concrete it. And the numbers that I've seen, based on some of the information I've gotten, it's expensive either way, but in the long run, I'm leaning towards recommending cement. That would be due to the fact that if we put pavement in there, all the trucks that come in and out of there, the way this loading dock is built, they all have to make a turn. So those loaded trucks there's a lot of weight on them, and I'm afraid our hot summer days, that asphalt would move around. So I think I haven't really discussed this with Nolan, he's hearing this for the first time, but.
I disagree. It's much more substantial as for concrete.
But I guess from what I've seen, that's kind of the way I'm leaning, so, and that's all we did.
I like the way that you're leaning there. I'm a concrete person. I like to look at the bigger picture, long-term maintenance. Southern Hills Golf Course Advisory Committee.
Yeah.
You guys changed your.
It will be at 4 on the 29th also. We just put it to later in the day so that their committee people can meet. And Jason just gave me a little update. They did have broken irrigation line, I guess he'd been working on. They did have 3 tournaments, and I would like to compliment Kathy on all the work she goes. When she has tournaments, she feeds those people, and it's a busy, busy day up there. And then with all the water, or rain, basically it's helped. So I think that's all. They've been working on golf carts, maintenance things, and keeping things going. So everything's running smooth right now.
Great, thank you.
I have a comment. I was out at the golf course this morning. The South Dakota Golf Association held their last junior club tournament before the state tournament. And it was great seeing all the junior golfers out there. They had golfers from 10 all the way up to, I believe, 16 or 17. And the course was full, the parking lot was full this morning. It was good to see that the junior golf program seems to be going very well out at the course.
Thanks, Bob. Appreciate the good news. Last but not least, and again, Andrea for the Volunteer Fire Department.
I don't know if anyone's been counting how many times the whistles have been going off the last month, but I can tell you 22 times that the guys and gals were dispatched out. And twice then they had 2 parades over the 4th of July. They were awarded a $4,000 match grant that will be going towards their bunker gear and their wildland gear, what they explained tonight. They're working on purchasing sweatshirts and t-shirts for all of the volunteers on there, and you heard him say there was like 40 on there right now. Their 125th anniversary was a huge success. The parade was wonderful. Their open house was much appreciated, and they had some amazing feedback for all of that. They served over 180 people for the banquet at the Legion, and like I said, the feedback that they received was amazing, and a lot of comments that came to them that the community was surprised at the equipment that the Hot Springs Volunteer Fire Department had, and what they use them for, and they really got to get down on the weeds and explain what they do and how they service Hot Springs. So it was really successful for them. So
Thank you, Andrea. Appreciate it. All right, I'm going to move on to resolutions. 2016-10 contingency resolution. This was for the police car we discussed last time. Now we have to pay for it.
This is just one small piece.
One piece of it, because we're doing it, we're funding out of different budgets.
I'll second.
I'm sorry, motion.
Yeah, I didn't.
And second. Thank
Carol. Discussion? All in favor? Opposed?
Oh. Looking at the agenda, it says 2016-10. Looking at the resolution, it's 2016-11.
good eye.
It's the ordinance. We have a typo in one place or the other.
Yeah.
I'm guessing it's on the agenda. Yeah.
Usually our resolution's the most current. We had it's a good example of the shifting agenda. If we had another resolution in line for it, then we sort of change numbers. But I would make the motion, I recommend the motion be made that you guys adopt resolution 2016-11, and that satisfies the clerical error for the numbering differences.
Going to start over then. We're pretty sure it's 11 then.
Yeah.
All right. Resolution 2016-11, contingency resolution for the police car.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Ordinance, first reading of ordinance 1166, supplemental appropriation ordinance. There's several items there that you have in your packet.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Oh,
Roll call, it's an ordinance.
Misty?
Yep.
It is an ordinance.
Georgia Holmes,
Yes.
Caroline Schwarzenbach,
Yes.
Kara Hagan,
Yes.
Tim Tesher,
Yes.
Krista Spillane. Yes. Bob Nelson,
Yes.
Skylar Wetzel,
Yes.
Andrea Kramer.
Yes.
Thank you.
First ordinance reading, motion carried. Thank you. New business, item A, discussion and possible motion to approve changing the Wells Fargo, Bank of the West, and First Interstate account signature cards to remove Carl Ashley and add Georgia Holmes.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I'll abstain.
Thank you. Tim's already on there. He's always the VP. We won't call you the bridesmaid. Item B, under new business, discussion and possible motion to approve temporary alcoholic beverage license application for the Winter Circle for August 20th wedding reception at the Mueller Center.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Misty, do you have a finance officer report for us?
Make it quick. I don't have a printed report other than the memo with the additions for your donation request this morning, or this evening. I did want to talk just a little bit about budget preparations. I have a big thank you to Nolan for helping so much, and just a reminder to the council that we'll have the packets available for you to pick up Friday, the 22nd, in the morning, before our budget hearings start Monday evening.
Like 8 in the
next week.
morning, or?
They'll be available first thing in the morning on Friday. I also just wanted to touch on the unannounced visits. As long as you understand that we might be busy, please stop in or call anytime. And on that note, I'd like to thank those that do call and are always very conscious of our time and ask first if it's a good time and schedule your times. I thank you for that. Never think that we don't have time to answer your questions, because without you knowing what's going on, this doesn't work. So it's definitely something we'll always make time for, and I thank you for taking the time to ask the questions and spend with us to make sure that you have the best information you can, make the tough decisions that you do. The property evaluation that I attended last week with our safety benefits loss control officer went very well. It was good for the bean counter, as I call myself, to get to go to all of the properties with him as he measured them, did an inventory of all the city-owned properties, and also just did a quick safety analysis. He had a lot of kind things to say about the employees of our city. They should be commended. We met with department heads at each property we visited, and he on more than one occasion mentioned how wonderful the city staff seemed to be, and we do have wonderful employees, and he was right, and he said he doesn't see that everywhere he goes. And they visit, between he and one other person, visit all of the SDPAA, our South Dakota Public Assurance Alliance municipalities in the entire state. So he said some nice things, and I did get great help from all of the department heads to help make that property evaluation worthwhile. They do it once every 4 years. We'll have a binder and recommendations within a month or two, I think is what he said. Wednesday is the elected officials workshop, so thank you for those of you that can take the time to go to that. I have your rooms reserved, and if anybody has any questions about where you're staying or how to get there, I realized when Bob asked me today that maybe I may have not communicated that very well, so you have reservations, and if you'd like to carpool, you can contact one another. I have a list of who's attending, so. And I think that's all I have for my finance officer's report. Am I timed?
It was 10 minutes.
Thanks, Misty, for the kind words about the staff. I always love to hear that.
Just a few points from me. First off, thank you to Skylar and to Bob and to Georgia for coming with me. Skylar and Bob on Wednesday, and then the three of you on Friday to do a familiarization tour of all our departments. I think you guys were able to see a good idea of what each department does, get a glimpse into their world, and also you guys asked really good questions as well. So thank you for your time in doing that. I think that was educational for everybody involved. That said, if any council member did not get a chance to do that, but is interested in visiting our departments, reach out to me. I'd be happy to schedule the same tour for you on your time. Our department heads are very eager and encourage you to come out and visit them, whether it be the maintenance shop, the airport, wherever it interests you. They'd be happy to show you around as to what they do. This month, we have on July 31st the deadline for businesses in Hot Springs to apply for the business facade grants. This is a twice-a-year grant. This is the last time we'll grant money out. In 2016, we'll be awarding up to $5,000 to businesses to improve their facades, their outdoor appeal. It's a competitive grant process, but that said, definitely reach out to us if you have questions or to get the application. We have it on our Facebook page. We'll have a reminder in the newspaper, I believe, next week as well. The deadline again is July 31st. The budget hearing schedule is on the base of this agenda, so if you don't have it in front of you, they're on the back table there. We're July 25th, July 27th, both 6 p.m. at City Hall. These are public meetings, so you guys are all encouraged to attend. You guys are almost required to attend. And then July 28th, if necessary, we have 5 p.m. at City Hall. Lastly, we talked about a few upcoming projects. Tim mentioned the big grant or the Jennings Bridge replacement. This is a time where the council will have to start deciding on some very large ticket items. We've got the 2020 reconstruction project coming up. That's not a free expense to the city. The DOT has their set standards, and then it's up to us if we want to enhance a highway project. Now, this is our downtown, so to enhance a highway project, it means making concessions, working with them to take a concrete slab and turn it into a vibrant downtown environment. We've had the Jennings Bridge proposed to be replaced. We all know the current condition it's in, what we expect to do in our community for the fire department. So that's another on the horizon cost, as well as other capital improvement costs you guys will start having to wade through as we go through the budget season. I mean, Boulder Falls just comes to mind for Misty. We have capital improvement costs as well of our aging vehicles. We have the downtown river flood channel as well that FEMA has just inspected and made recommendations to us through the Corps that we have to address in the near future as well. You know, it's difficult for us because we sound like we're singing the same song of deferred maintenance is now coming up to rear its head, but that's exactly the case. We have these deferred maintenance projects that are about ready to catch up with us, and we have to start making the tough decisions to commit to addressing them the correct way. So just keep that in mind as we head into budgeting season, and with that, Mary?
Thanks, Nolan. You must have been looking at my list because you hit on all but one thing. I just wanted to remind the council that we will be doing the committee chair assignments at the August 1st meeting. I've talked to several of you about your interests and possible changes. So we will formally announce the new chairs on August 1st. As Nolan mentioned, the budget hearing schedule, I appreciate you guys being prepared for that. The more prepared you are, the less painful it will be, right? Yes. The veterans. And also just wanted to mention the facade grant. Nolan did that, appreciate that. Also wanted to remind you what Andrea alluded to, that the fire whistle has gone off 22 times. We are still, even though we've been getting these little rains every evening, we still are in a very high fire danger area, so just be careful out there with the fire. I am going to remind the council that we're planning an executive session to discuss the corner construction lawsuit, and we've also added the item from personnel. And that's all that I have for our regular meeting here.
Motion to go into executive session.
Second.
And I also want to remind the public that we will probably be making a couple decisions after executive session.
That'll be in this room to make those decisions, so.
We'll come back in here. All right, I'll see you at the table in the small room. We lost people.
Yeah, we did.
We're going to wait for the council to re-adjourn.
Hey, Bob, do you have this being recorded? Perfect.
Yep.
What'd you do, Scott?
Do you want a roll call vote for any of this?
Should.
Okay. For both items? Misty, they would like to do a roll call vote for both of these items when we do them. What's that? Well, they don't want to, but we're going to. How's that? Not a problem. We're here, so I'm going to go to the personnel.
We've done all that in there.
Yeah.
We're good.
Okay, I'm gonna just go in order here and go back to personnel, item D. Tom Nas, Evans Plunge Mineral Springs Maintenance, $16.90 an hour, effective on the 18th. If,
I'll make that motion.
And I'll second it.
and they would like a roll call vote on this, so Misty, I'll let you do that.
Georgia Holmes,
Yes?
Caroline Schwarzenbach,
Yes.
Kara Hagan,
Yes.
Tim Tesher,
No.
Krista Spillane,
Yes.
Bob Nelson,
No.
Skylar Wetzel,
Yes.
Andrea Kramer.
Yes.
Okay, passes.
Motion carried.
Motion carried. All right, thank you. Appreciate the discussion on that one. All right. Back to new business continued. Item A, possible motion and discussion to take action regarding corner construction lawsuit.
I'd like to make a motion to pursue all available counterclaims in our defense.
I second that.
Any other discussion on this item? All in favor? Misty, I'll let you do what you do so well again.
So I'm just gonna make sure you just write all available counterclaims.
In our defense.
Thank you. All right, Georgia Holmes,
Yes?
Caroline Schwarzenbach,
Yes.
Kara Hagan,
Yes.
Tim Tesher,
Yes.
Krista Spillane,
Yes.
Bob Nelson,
Yes.
Skylar Wetzel,
Yes.
Andrea Kramer.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Motion carried.
Make a motion, meeting adjourned.
I'll second that.
You guys are eager. Yeah. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you all for a good, difficult meeting. I appreciate